Hi all. Right, welcome back to Any Match in Kharkov, Soviet Solo, take two, part 92. Hopefully just the last part. Although I have made a decision that Martin's made a comment on how brutal this Panzer division were, along with some of the other ones, and he knows more about the history than what I do. But apparently they were accused of war crimes and whatever. So I've made my mind to give them one last attack. Now I know it's not going to matter here. However, I did actually have a glance at these are the two cars that we've got left. So obviously I can only have one. Well, okay, I could have two impulses, but you can see I can't activate mobile group pop-off twice, in a row, obviously. So these are my two cards. So it's basically operate, activate them and play combat engineers, or maybe activate the units if I wanted their power. And then I thought, well, you know what, if we could get this guy out of here and take this one victory point, could we could we have a go at this guy and maybe retreat him? Well, to be honest, what would have to happen was he'd have to retreat something like twice that way or something. In fact, no, he wouldn't go that way. Well, he might. No, I don't know. He'd have to retreat twice. Well, that way would work as well. Then we could advance twice into the VP hex, and no, that's where we couldn't. We wouldn't be able to trace supply. I mean, I'm looking at this in a tongue-in-cheek kind of way because at the moment I think I've got 5-1 odds here. It would mean moving this unit down, and I'd have an attack on this of 1-1 with two chip pools. Would reduce the odds up there to 4-1, I think. Maybe 4 or 5 chip pools, I think. But yeah, no. I'm not going to try and look at this and say, oh, maybe we could actually do this and keep the game going, because this is going to be impossible pretty much. So it's a waste of time. So, but I think what I'd like to do is just see if we could take that guy out and grab that back, just to see if if things hadn't went so badly against us that we might have still stood a chance with getting that victory point back. And also for the fact that what Martin's told me about these guys, so we'll see if we can do something about them. Okay, well, I don't want to drag things on too much, to be honest, because we know the game's over. And we do have, with the major offensive, we do have another activation of second SS, and I have to do that first. Now, the Germans have still got another impulse to go after this. However, I won't bother going through that because they can't lose victory points on their turn. There's no way of them doing that. I don't believe so, anyway. No, they couldn't lose victory points, so there's not a chance that for some strange reason, if I let them have an impulse, that they could give us victory points back. So there's no point doing that. But we'll have our last impulse ourselves. Right, well, let's quickly move on with that. So it's going to activate second SS again. They're quite scattered about, so none of them are behind Soviet lines. Oh yeah, I still didn't look at... You know what, I'm not going to go back and look at it. I'm pretty sure if I did, because I remember I said that I had missed step 2 for some reason, and this has moved to VP hex. Well, moved to non-Soviet VP hex. Oh, Ramon posted linked an errata document that John and his team or whatever must have put together. I don't think it's on BGG yet though. He just linked it on my YouTube channel and a comment, which I didn't know about it, but it does clear up a lot of things, and quite a few things that have come up in my playthrough have been adjusted. That was one of them, wasn't it? Because I mean, it was maybe one of the ones that you could just sort of take common sense, because these aren't really German VP hexes as such. They can't be owned, these hexes. So it came up on my playthrough, didn't it? That it says move to VP hex, and then it says move to German VP hex, only if empty or garrison. And my question at the time had been, is this class as German? And John's actually put some errata in there that says move to non-Soviet VP hex to kind of take care of the fact that maybe these aren't really classed as German because they're not owned by anybody, yeah? So that was one of them, and then there was quite a few other ones. The old, what is it? Not occupied by or adjacent to German unit, adjacent to same Soviet unit, sort of thing. They've all been put into that errata. So it's quite nice to see that this playthrough has brought quite a few things out that maybe it's needed some attention, whatever. It makes it feel more the worthwhile. Okay, so it's on the link to it's on my YouTube channel, but I don't know how you go about. I mean, I thought, well, shouldn't that be on BGG somewhere? But no doubt, I guess John will probably put it up there, or somebody will be able to do that or whatever. Anyway, okay, so yeah, why was I talking about that? Oh yeah, because I was saying that I'd missed action step 2, didn't I, in that last impulse. But I don't think, I mean, already mentioned that was only VP hex. Now there was 57 core units proximate to it, but remember 57 core, although they got to move, they weren't active at the time. It was just second SS, and there was no second SS proximate. And then these other hexes, yeah, they might have moved to them, but they would only be moving to them if a Soviet unit had then become proximate to them. And yeah, there was none of that going to happen. So I don't think I did miss any in there. So, and well, you know what? If I did, it didn't matter. We're still losing this game. We're losing this game at this stage. A German operational victory. Yeah, I'm going to look at that later because I wanted to see where that stood. I mean, because I thought to myself, well, if that was a historical result, in some ways you don't feel quite so bad if that's actually what happened. Anyway, we'll get to that. Okay, so, and again here then, move to VPX, move to German VPX. Well, I don't think they can reach. Not too far away, probably. This guy's probably the best shot at it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, so he's still 3 hexes short from taking that VP hex. And then again, move to non-Soviet VP hex. It'll be if once you've moved there, there's a Soviet unit then proximate to the unit that has moved there. There's none of that. There's none of that again. So we don't need to bother with that. And I'm pretty sure that was the case last time as well. Right, so let's get 2 action cards. This will be the last 2 action cards of the game, because like I said, I'm not going to play the last impulse, the Germans. So what we've got strengthen and advance. Advance comes first. Oh, okay, so no attack stuff. Oh, that's quite interesting then. Right, so advance is an active unit able to move at least 1 hex in the forward direction, going in descending order. Right, let me find out where we all are. Right, we've got 14 and 15 up here, 1, 7 in here, 10 in here, 6 here, and then right down here we have, what do we have? 13 and 11. Yeah, they're well scattered out. So I think 15 was the first one, wasn't it? Yeah, let me put that to the top then. Sorry, I know this is more than like, well, it is off camera because I just point the camera right down. This will be at the top of the map anyway. Right, okay, I'll zoom in on that a bit. Right, so I don't want to spend too much time on this, and then hopefully we can just keep this to one part. So 15, so he can move 1 hex in his forward direction into this hex is the forward direction. So he gets 2 additional movement points, so he's wanting 8 movement. So 1, 2, 3, then he's going into the woods here, 4, 5, 6, and then it's 1 and another 1 to cross that minor river. So that would be the whole 8. So he was able to do that. Well, in actual fact, 14's just going to join him, isn't it? Not breaking any restrictions. Yeah, let's not muck about. Let's just put 14 in there as well. And Unit 1's the last one that's up there, but in actual fact, he might well move as well. So let's come back down. I think we're way down the bottom here now. Right, I won't bring the card down. We know what's happening. So can he move one hex in his? Well, no. There's not a forward arrow in that hex, which could be classed as a little strange because it kind of means that guy. Well, that's not to say he couldn't move by other reasons. Yeah. Just leave it, Grant. I think there's nothing to say he couldn't move by other reasons, is there? So, yeah, fair enough. Right, well, I think 11's next. We've got 10 up there. Right. So 11, well, that's an odd one too, isn't it? Because he can move at least one hex in his forward direction. This wouldn't be overstat. There's 2 units, 4 steps. So he's going to move 1, 2 into here. And then there's no more arrows, so he's kind of just moving into there, and that's that. So maybe a little odd, but I'm not going to go and try and look into or challenge any of that nonsense. Now this guy, where's the arrow? Is it into there? Yeah, this guy would be next, number 10. His arrow's pointing into there. He can't move. Next guy would be 7. He can't move as well. His arrow's into there. Unit 6 is down here. So, okay, he can move 1. He's going to move 8 movement points. Let's zoom out a little bit. So that's 1, 2, then along the road, 3, 4, 5, and then 6 adjacent to that unit in there. Sorry if that was maybe just off, but so he got to 6 movement, and like the card says, stop when movement allowance spent or upon entering a Soviet VP hex or a hex adjacent to a Soviet unit. So you can't move any further anyway, but that's a move adjacent to a Soviet unit, so he's going to stop there. Alright, just jumping back up the top here. This unit 1 is the last one, and yeah, he will be able to move. He's not exposing that time. The Rouse unit's still going to be in there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Right, Grant, he's not got. Oh yeah, he's got 8. He has. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Right, he can't cross across there though, because it would be 1 across the minor river and 1 in there. So he's going to stop there with his 7 movement points spent. And that is going to be that. Okay, so that's that, and that's all the units done their check on advance. And then we have 3 units that haven't done in yet. Strengthen goes in descending order. Active unit in non-VP hex and proximate to VP hex occupied by at least 1 German step. Yeah, this isn't going to happen. That active unit is in a VP hex, so he doesn't count. And these 2, whether they were proximate to VP hex or not, they're not going to move because again, they are holding these 2 stacks around it, but they can't. There's not a VP hex nearby that they could go to anyway. So nothing with strengthen. So just finish off the action steps. Well, we do have the guy down in the victory point hex, so he might just do something. So move proximate to empty Soviet VP hex. He'll do that. He will do that. So coming down here, that is in ascending order. Well, the 2 units up there that are surrounding, they're not going to move anyway, and they wouldn't be able to move proximate to empty Soviet VP hex. Here's our empty Soviet VP hex, so he's going to be able to move proximate to it. So he wants a position hex. So that's a road up into there, isn't it? 1, 2. Well, wait now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's position X there. I think that's where he'll go actually, because there's not any other position X's round about. Well, we've got this one, but this one's closer, obviously. Right, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, so that's the preference. First preference is a position hex. Move proximate to empty Soviet VP hex if not already proximate. Well, he's not proximate just now, but if he moves 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 into there, and it's a position hex, he's now proximate to that VP hex. And like I say, it's the nearest position hex to here that he can reach. Okay, cool. And then, well, we can just quickly cycle through these two units. We shouldn't really need to even look at them. They can't do that movement. They can't move away from there. So move set, actually step 6, move to hex that causes surround, but they're already causing surround. 7 is move to hex that enables supply. 8 is move to hex in units arm area. 9 is move in forward direction. They can't do any of that because they would be breaking, if they moved away, they would be breaking the restriction on surround on the units. I mean, yeah, there is a case to say that this unit, he could probably move to there, and well, no, actual fact, he cannot. So, but you know what? I'm not going to look there. I don't think they would move anywhere else. Okay, so that's run right through the action steps. That is that done. So there was no more attacks there. So it just shows you that maybe if well, this was a kind of overwhelming attack down here, though, wasn't it? To take that victory point. But you can see, I mean, if we didn't get, well, if we didn't get the second SS card, things probably wouldn't have been as bad. If we didn't get the major offensive to go with it, things wouldn't have been as bad. And we might have been able to hang on, but just everyone seemed to gang up on us this turn. To be honest, this turn, me and Martin did say that it's been a pretty horrendous turn. I think I could probably say that turn 7 wasn't really that much better. Turn 7 and turn 9 have just been brutal for us. Just not really gave us a chance. But I guess it can go that way. I mean, I've had my luck in other places as well. The start of the game, I felt like I was quite lucky. But that maybe that's balanced it out a little bit. Okay, so that's the German impulse over. So we have 2 cards left in our hand. Let's just keep this going. Keep it to a small episode if you can, Grant. We're going to play now. I think I need to do it this way. So, well, that activates the whole core, whole army. Sorry. So we're going to activate all units in mobile group pop off. And yeah, there's not going to be much to do really. I'm not going to try and do this messy thing about trying to come down here, and I very much doubt it's doable. I think I'd be drawing 2 chits, 3 at the most, to try and get D3 in the hope that his first retreat would lose a step loss, because I would be surrounding him. Yeah, I'd be maybe drawing maximum of 3 chits and needing to get D3, I think. Maybe D2, but I'd have 1-to-1 odds. Yeah, I'm just not doing that, because I know this is not going to give me a chance. If I just go for this is it's impossible for me to actually keep the game going. And if I did attack down here and for some reason miraculously did budge that guy 2 hexes, it could keep the game. Well, now hang on, I've already said that even if I took that, I couldn't trace supply through this hex anyway, because I need to be able to, once I take that hex, I need to be able to trace supply as well, and it's too long to go up and around. So yeah, let's just forget that. Let's just concentrate on what was his name? Well, you know what, it doesn't matter what his name was. They were a horrible Panzer division, I believe, or something. Wick, I don't know. Wicket, was it? No, it wasn't. It's in my comments on YouTube anyway, whatever it was. Okay, so there's nothing moving. The guy down here, there's another guy down here that's out of supply, but we can't really get him anywhere anyway. This guy's surrounded, so it's just all about here. And yeah, nothing to move. We're just going to attack. So we're attacking this guy here, and we get to bring in our out of supply units as well, because we do have a supplied unit attacking. So, and then I'm going to play engineers as well. Let's zoom out a little bit. I'm playing engineers as well. I mean, I know it's in a town, but it gives us 1 extra strength, which ups the odds from 4 to 5, I think, if we work this out. 3, 6, 9, 11, 14. So 14, and then plus the 1 for the combat engineers is 15. So 15 against 3 gives us the 5 to 1 odds. So we'll take that. And chip pools are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 1 for the combat engineers is 6. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So we'll just not hang about. We'll draw a German combat tactic. They get assault coordination attack only, so doesn't shuffle in, doesn't really matter. Discard that, so we've nothing to interfere there. Okay, can we find? Well, I'm going to go and find out this guy's name. So it's the 5th Panzer Grenadier Division, Wiking. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it, but Wiking, I think it is. He says they were well equipped. Where are they? Well equipped divisions, but also known for their war crimes. So that when I read that, I thought, you know what, that's made my mind up. We're going to have a go at this guy, see if we can get some revenge. Well, we've attacked him twice with, I think both times it was 71 odds, and I want to say both times it was 8 chip pools actually. It was round about these sort of numbers, and we never even moved them at all. We never moved them once, we got nothing at all. So, well, here we go. See if we can finish with something, and take out this bad guy, and at least do something to finish the game. Okay, so 2 minimum, 6 maximum. We have combat engineers, that's irrelevant, isn't it? It's added our strength, yeah, it doesn't do anything else for us. So yeah, I'll get the 2 minimum. That was the first one. Looks like it could be more of the same. City or attack not supported on the front side. We are supported in the attack though, but it actually has town on the back as well, and it is a town, and it's a bad start. I tell you what, it's a great follow-up, because I don't give a damn how many hits I take, and to get a D2 from that is excellent. I mean, okay, we're sitting at D1 and he's in a town, so we're doing nothing still at the moment, but 4 more chits to go. We're obviously going to draw all 4 of them, and yeah, here we go. I'll probably just show them one at a time, I think. Okay, keep it coming. We played combat engineers. Yeah, it only applies on attack, and I mean, I know it did. Well, it did do something. I mean, I know you can't do it. Well, it just says remove an IP, but if you're doing it on a town or a city, that's up to yourself. You're never going to be able to remove an IP, but I did the strength. So yeah, yeah, excellent. So keep them coming. Well, I looked at the front first, and I thought, yeah, that'll do, and then I thought, oh no, we've not got, but 5 to 1 in large attack. That's the chip. That's the number that you want in this game. 5 to 1, and if you've got large attack, okay, I didn't have the large attack, but I still had the 5 to 1. So yeah, sitting in D3, I like it. Well, let's just keep drawing. We've got 2 to come. I was like, right, okay, large attack, right, 5 to 1 on the other side. No, it's 6 to 1. So that one's not going to apply. No large attack, because we need 7 chip pools, whereas the Germans get it on a 6 chip pool, which we're only getting 6 to 1, but I would have took the 1 hit to each on the other side. Right, 5 chits down. We want 1 more. I think we want 1 more hit. Yeah, let's just draw it. I'm not really concentrating on what we need. Let's just draw it. Yes, 4 to 1. That'll do. I don't mind taking another hit. I could disperse. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to move in and take that, because surely we've got enough to budge that guy out of there. So the results are D 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 minus 1. So D4 and A2. Yeah, 2 hits to us, 4 hits to them. Right, I'll clear the chits and then we'll have a look at what's what. Okay, so D4, A2, he's got to take 4 hits. He takes the first one, well the time soaks up the first one. He's got 3 hits to take, which is an important number. Well, 2 was the important number, but obviously just to make sure he's retreating. He has to retreat and he's going to avoid taking a step loss. However, yeah, is that going to save him? Ah, isn't it? Damn. See, if this guy hadn't been here, then we would have got him. However, so it does eventually, we do eventually budge him. So he retreats into that hex because that would be a step loss if he retreated in there. That would be a step loss. That is a what am I trying to say? It's yeah, it's retreat priority 2, which is hex in enemy zone of control, but occupied by a friendly supplied unit. So he doesn't take a step loss with that. That takes his hits down to 2 still to take. Oops. 2 still to take. He's still 2 steps though, so he still has to retreat. He's not going to retreat there, so he could go here or here. You know what, I'm not going to really mess about looking for where his priority would be because it doesn't matter. That takes him down to 1 hit and he has to satisfy that last 1 hit with a step loss. So yeah, that would have been nicer to have taken him out, but well, we got what we wanted, I suppose. Just would have been nice to have finished them off, wouldn't it? So that soaks up, that takes his last hit, he takes a step loss. We have to take 2 hits. Oh, we're going to lose an armoured unit, aren't we? Okay, so we take it on this guy because we have to take an armoured hit first. So he takes a hit and then this infantry takes a second hit for us. That guy's away. That takes our 2 hits. Then we advance after combat. I don't know, maybe just, does it matter? Well, I'm going to get an ownership marker anyway. Krasnoyarsk becomes ours again after a long battle. Yeah, I probably should. Well, I should certainly move him in because he was surrounded. In fact, no. In actual fact, I probably shouldn't be advancing him, should I? I should be advancing that guy. Because I think they're able to trace supply from there, and I don't think we can do it from there. It's not going to matter. Okay, we're going to stop here anyway. So he advances into there. We get a 1 victory point back, taking us back to 15. Just not enough. Yeah, impulse is over, and yeah, game over. Like I say, I won't bother with the last German impulse because they can never do anything that removes victory points. They're not going to lose a victory point on their impulse, so that's what I mean. So yeah, we'll just leave it at that, and I'll just yeah, mention a few things finishing up, and then yeah, and then maybe we'll change the map over and look at another game. Yeah, so 15 points. I mean, to be honest, I think if we had went in the next turn, I think the damage has probably been done. There's lots of stuff up here going isolated. I mean, we were able, I think, to put him in a position where he could trace. He's in a position where he could trace. They're in a position, there's 2 units in there, 1 strong unit in there actually. Trace down to here. The other 4 stacks here though, all going isolated. So all in a mess. Kharkov next turn would have got smashed, I'm sure. Certainly they would have tried. We might have hung on, but and that's 4 victory points in there, remember. So, and then yeah, I mean, we tried our best down in this area. we didn't manage to get a unit in here because of things going wrong to try and supply trace. We were able to get this guy in supply trace, and I think these guys would have been okay. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, these two wouldn't have made it now though. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, one short because we can't trace down this road hex, as we found out through the course of the game after missing it quite a few times. Yeah, so in all honesty, I think that we go on to turn 10. A lot of replacement, a lot of reserves coming in, admittedly, but I still think we would have struggled our way through. So yeah, maybe just as well. And I'm gonna take that out of there. Had my the phone plugged in there. Right, and then just checking, like I said, the Germans do have another impulse to end the turn, but we'll not bother going there. Is it possible they could took more victory points back? Yes. So I'm not going to count my score as 15 victory points, but what I'm going to say is it is indeed going to be a German operational victory, because we'll certainly have less than 16. Whether it's 15 or, like I say, we'll not know the final number, because I don't really feel like playing the Germans one more impulse so they can batter me about even more. So it might well be that they took another 1 or 2 victory points away from her. So I just wanted to check what that outcome was in the book. Right, so here we go, page 41, well it goes on to page 42 as well, it's right at the bottom, 17.3, interpretation of victory levels. Levels of victory reflect the historical outcome. So a Soviet strategic defeat, which is not what we had, was Operation Star and Gallop failed to create meaningful breakthroughs. German counterattack swiftly retake Soviet gains, destroying 2 Soviet fronts in the process. So that's is that not the worst one? Well, actually, it only shows. Oh, hang on. Soviet strategic defeat. Well, it doesn't name them like that, does it? German operational victory. Okay. I guess yeah. The way they've got it worded, I guess you've just got to take out of that. That must be the same as a German strategic victory then. If it's a Soviet strategic, on turns 4 was the first one. German strategic, it doesn't actually word it as Soviet strategic defeat. It just shows it as German strategic victory. But that's a comparison to that. So the next one is the one we had, which is Soviet operational defeat. So German operational victory. So I'm assuming that's the same. And that is indeed the historical result. It says, after a major Soviet breakout, Army Group South regroups and counterattacks, destroying Soviet spearheads and retaking most ground lost. And yeah, that's kind of what happened. I'll not read the rest because, well, we didn't get there. Yeah, tactical defeat, and then there's and then there's the victory ones. Yeah. Yeah, well, I suppose there was only one other defeat we could get, which would have been a tactical defeat. Where was that from then? Operation. That's on turn 12. Turn 12 and 13 and 14. Yeah. But then if you get to 14, all you can have is a loss or a draw. So, yeah. Okay. Okay. So, well, we achieved the historical result, which maybe doesn't sound so bad, but we didn't win. But there we go. So 92 parts, and we had a few parts in take 1 also, where I just couldn't get myself going and just made an awful lot of blunders. And to be honest, I carried a lot of that through the game. Like I said, I was getting frustrated quite a lot. Mistakes that I was making. I'd like to think I finished the game there maybe even throughout that turn or most of it. Maybe not. The turn's quite a long set of parts, Grant. So maybe not quite so. But I don't think I made too many errors nearer the end of the game. However, once you've not got Soviet support to think about, and once you move on to turn 8 and don't need to consider surround, it does make it easier to operate the AI a bit. When you're not looking at, am I leaving a unit in dangerous surround? You just need to look and say, oh, he's not in Soviet support, let's forget about him. However, certain preferences do come down to check that as well. So there is a lot to look at. I did try and slow my thinking down and pause the camera and look at things a bit more. So hopefully I can take that forward into the next game. Which, yeah, I mean, I don't see why I shouldn't just break out the German solo map and go for it. I've read through the rules a couple of times. I'll not get started today. And I've got 4 days of work to go, and then I'm on holiday for quite a bit actually, and not planning to go away anywhere, so I should get plenty of opportunities to get German solo started and go in and whatever. So I don't want to rush into it. I want to take it slowly and carry on pausing the camera a lot, hopefully, so that I can double check on things. But yeah, looking forward to that now as well. I would have liked to have seen this carry on. In some way, I mean, I think in some other ways, I would have been moving into turn 10 thinking, oh, this is going to be horrible, having all these units out of supply. But we would have got a bunch of reserves, you know, and we might have been able to start stabilising a bit, you know. Maybe. We've got a lot of losses, a lot of eliminated units, so possibly not. I might be getting ahead of myself there. Okay, so yeah, I love the game. Brilliant. Somebody made a comment, somebody made a comment, he's been enjoying the videos, and he was saying that he's played Ardennes and he was looking at this thinking it was more complex, and that's not what the general sort of opinion is. I think most people seem to think this is easier than Ardennes. I'm not so sure. That's the German. This is the Soviet solo, which is the comparable game would be the German solo in Ardennes, and I'm not so sure this is any easier to operate. And when we're talking about easier, we're talking about the AI. That's a complex part of this game. I mean, I'm not saying if you take that AI away, so if you were playing a 2-player game here, it would be easy, you know, it'd be easy to understand. I'm not saying it'd be easy, but it'd be, I mean, that's where all the complexity comes into it, is the AI and operating it. And I think you've got, because I've mentioned this a few times about having so much more regarding units being in dangerous round, leaving them in dangerous round, where that's not in Ardennes hardly, and it's far more involved in here, and I think that brings a lot of complexity into this game. Now, whether I'm just saying that because it was the big one that seemed to catch me out the most, that could be that. But I suppose I'm talking from a personal. This is maybe a personal opinion that I don't think this is any easier. I will say the rule books, player aids, components, everything about the game is better than Ardennes. That's not to say Ardennes, falls away to some place that it's not. I mean, everything about Ardennes is great as well. It's a brilliant game. I mean, up until putting this on my table, it's my favourite game. So do I think this is better than that? Yes, I think so. I think it's better, but I don't think it's easier. I don't think it's any, there's a few folk asking, like, should I get enemy action Ardennes or should I get Kharkov? I would still say yes, get Kharkov, but not for the fact that I find it easier than Ardennes. But there's a few bits in Ardennes. What is it? detachments. That was all a bit yucky. I think that's in the Allied solo version of the game, isn't it? All the detachments that you put down. But we've not moved on to the German solo version of this, so there might be some of that, because the Soviets are going to move and leave garrisons lying about. Within this part of the game, garrisons were involved, but it wasn't that there was loads and loads of them all the time, you know. Sort of like, and then of course Ardennes, you've got roadblocks, bridges. You don't have any of that in this, so that was taken out, so it made it more streamlined. So yeah, this game is more streamlined. I just don't think the AI is any easier. I don't. I find it. And I think if I was to check back, I think I probably made more mistakes in this playthrough than I did in my German solo of Ardennes. But I could be wrong with that. But that's how it feels. But yeah, brilliant game, and I think it's up there beside Ardennes. Whether I would put this at number 1 and Ardennes at number 2. Possibly. I don't know. I don't really rate my games. I'm one of these bad people that doesn't do that on BGG either. Yeah, I don't kind of do all that, which is I know I should do that, but you know, rate the games to what I think. But it can sometimes be how you feel about it. It can be somebody else might think totally different, you know. Like I say, I think the majority seem to feel this is easier than Ardennes, but it's maybe because I suppose it is in the way that it's more streamlined and you can get into it more freely and whatever. Just if you compare the AIs, I don't know. I'm not sure. But there's not an awful lot between them, that's for sure. It's still a tough system to get through and understand, but brilliant, absolutely brilliant. You know, there's no second to this AI system. There's not a second. One of the first games I drew, it was one of the first games I got. It was Conflict of Heroes: Awakening the Bear, and because they brought out the solo system, and Mr. Butterfield has credits involved in that solo system. I don't know how much he was involved in it, but his name's up there beside it, so it must have been he must have had some input in it, and it was brilliant. It is brilliant. Unfortunately, it only works with the certain scenarios within the game. Some people have tried to apply it to some of the 2-player scenarios, but I never really got around to trying any of them. But the actual solo scenarios were brilliant, amazing. But this is. And it did do everything. It done everything, and you did have cases where the AI done some strange things, and you could see, you know, if I was to say to you, who do you think was involved in this AI system, and you'd played Ardennes and Kharkov, you would have suggested that maybe John Butterfield was involved in it, because of the way it was done. So yeah, but this is yeah. I hope he's got more games to come. And I know, like I talked about this before, that there's 6-7 years in between Ardennes and this game, which is a shame. You know, we're going to have to wait another 7 years. Well, I'm hoping that that is the case and there is another one. I heard somebody mention that the next one might be the last in the series. Yeah, I guess some people do these things in threes, don't they? Well, I definitely hope there is one, and 7 years seems a long time, but I can understand that it's not something you can do quicker. Although he is retired now, I believe. Mr. Butterfield is retired, so maybe he's got a bit more time in his hands. Yeah, no, you should enjoy your retirement, John. Fabulous game, really enjoyed it. Yeah, I knew I would enjoy it. That's the thing. Anyway, okay, I'll get away now. I don't think there's much more to say. Brilliant game, and yeah, I'm going to just get the German solo map out and get it ready. I don't know. Monday, Tuesday. I'm working Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I'd like to leave it till next weekend, you know, and maybe I should just, by all means, set things up, look over some rules, and leave it till when I'm off work, and I can maybe sit down next Friday. This is, what is this? This is Sunday just now, so it's not that far away. Leave it till next Friday, but I don't know. I'm going to have some time in between there, so I might get the urge to like get it started, and maybe even just the first couple of bits to set up, because I think you go through. It's not as complex a process as what RDM was about the first turn. I think it's just a roll of dice and you adjust some units, which yeah, I quite liked that bit in Ardennes, although the cards, I mean, you need a magnifying glass to read the cards to see the units and see where you put them and all that. That was hard going. So I don't know if something similar in this game, because I think it's just in the rule book, isn't it? Or is there a player aid with it on it, maybe? Anyway, okay, right, well, I've pushed that to 46 minutes or so, yeah, at least it's a wee part to finish things off. I hope any who's watching it enjoyed that. I know it's long-winded for some. Ramon made some nice, kind comments there, that he's enjoyed that, and he doesn't actually have the game yet, and which surprised me a little, because he says he's managed to follow through and learn quite a lot from my videos, which is good. He seems to have quite an eagle eye as well, because he spotted 2 or 3 things that none of the rest of us spotted, and brought them to attention. So hopefully he can keep up with the next series as well. And yeah, so hopefully some of you enjoyed it. Like I say, I know there'll be some that'll think this is far too long-winded to sit and watch through. What is that, 92 parts, if you don't include the first playthrough, which I think I only got 7 or 8 parts in, maybe, something like that, maybe not even. So 92 parts, and they're generally over an hour, aren't they? But if you average them to an hour, well, that kind of gives you an idea of how long, if you watch through it all. If you watch through it all, I'm sure some of you have it on fast forward, or browse to the, you know, just, yeah, browse to a bit where you say, oh, right, what's happening there. But that's fine. I mean, the main purpose of this is for myself. I want to enjoy playing the game, and I feel that by pressing record now, though the only thing is, it now forces me to do this. I find it a bit odd if I sit with a game myself and I don't have the camera rolling, and I'm sitting talking to myself, and it feels a bit weird. So anyway, okay, hope you've enjoyed it anyway, guys, and I'll be back with Enemy Action Kharkov, German solo, and hopefully there'll not be a take 2, it'll just be part 1, and we can take it from there. Okay guys, cheers.